Hey guys, welcome to another episode of
Discovering Our Journey.
I'm your host MC.
And I'm JC. Oh,
Man,
what a week it's been, right?
what a week it's been.
Every week I notice that I'm saying that more and more.
More and more?
What a week. It's been a lot of good. It's been a lot of good. Right now we're having that time of season. I believe that the dead things that I thought were dying in my life, like some relationships or just, new places that I used to go that I no longer go to anymore, like, because it's not warm enough. Anyways, a lot of change is happening. And a good one is my son. My son he's doing good. He's going to graduate this year, and he's realizing that he has been a little selfish. So I thought that was very interesting. Yeah. I was like,
Well, I know you were hoping, but I mean, you got to realize you got to let time take its course.
Absolutely.
I mean, we've discussed a lot about this, and sometimes you got to let them trip and fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that you want to be a good mother, and they'd be like, watch out. But especially boys, they'd be like, watch out with what? I could do it.
And you know what? It wasn't as bad. And we always say that we want it better for our kids, right?
Uh-huh.
But to be honest with you, your kids has to go through some bad.
Have to.
Right? Because it kind of carves us out.
Well, it's almost like the one saying, right? There's one thing that, or not a saying, but a lot of parents sometimes will be like, oh, I don't want my kid to get dirty.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are like that. If you're not, I believe in, God made dirt, don't dirt hurt. But, there's a line between you being like dirty.
It's not in your good clothes, damn it.
Not in your church clothes.
That's right.
You can't keep them too clean, not for the fact of being clean, but sometimes we need a little bit of germs.
We do. Because your body needs to know how to fight against it.
Exactly. Knows how to fight against it and stuff like that. So we do need to. Yeah. And in life, we need to, one of my nephews once said, it's like, oh, I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to, the way I see things is I didn't succeed and I failed at this. And I told him that failure is giving up. Right? Because the thing is, you can't fail at something if you keep trying. And different angles, it's about not giving up. And more than important, sometimes giving up doesn't even also mean continuing to do something, right?
Yeah, it's a learning.
It's learning. It's a learning process.
Yeah.
If you're going to sit there and you're going to try to make this thing work, and if you really realize that it doesn't work, then you learned. You know what? I took on too much. I can't do it. I need to put this off because I can't. It's technically not a failure because you learned. That's how we learn. Without making mistakes, how do we learn? Unfortunately, a lot of us, and I'll take myself, we like to make our own mistakes. and the problem is, but I've grown, I've helped to grow out of that scenario. And now I look at life a lot more different because I'm tired of making the same mistakes that other people make, thinking I can do better. And
it's only a mistake if you keep repeating the same strategy to do it, right?
Yeah.
It's a failure, I believe, for me. It's only a failure if you don't make a lesson out of it. Right?
To
learn?
The learning.
Grow?
Well, the learning. I feel like the failure is only when you don't learn, and you're right. You're repeating. Like they say, what's the definition? They say that what's the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. Right? So if you, so that's what it, something like that. But the point the point is this: we need to learn, from others just as much as we need to learn from our own mistakes that we make, and just be aware of it.
It's always better to go with others, though. I'll tell you that.
Definitely.
It's so much easier to judge others and watch them fall.
And we have to learn from it, though. We have to learn from it. That's the thing. Learn what they did, and you might want to try to do it a little different. It might not be as bad. But it's all learning. So it's all good to experience that.
Yeah.
So
that's why my husband, when we go looking around like at places we're going to travel, he likes to look at the must do's, the greatest things that happened on my trip. But I like to look at what went wrong. Like what's your feedback on that? Because I want to avoid that. Like, hey, I didn't know that I should have converted my money, before doing this. Or
I didn't know it was monsoon season when I
there you go. Right?
Hey, that's a good one. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be in the middle of tropical storm and stuff.
First of all, that was never on the radar. Just to let you know.
Oh man, so you got to know something.
It was a last minute, anyways.
Okay,
how
I'm
about
just
that?
saying you gotta.
It was called an adventure. Adventure.
All right,
But
all
that's
right.
too much. Anyways, but yes, lessons come and we have to change the way we do it, right?
Yeah.
Especially in relationships. That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's why we end up being so angry with each other, I think, for a long time. Right? Even with my son, it's happened where I'm just like, nope, nope, and I'm changing my tactics, or I'm not changing my tactics or strategy. I keep it the same and I don't lighten up.
I think what that's called is expectations.
Oh, maybe. As women, you know what? We get tired. We get tired and we're like, you know what? I expect it now. So
But I think that is like the core of a lot of stuff with any relationship. The
yeah.
expectations.
Yeah.
Like, do you like if for a son or a daughter, you're like, do you know what I do for you? It's like, so I expect you to, like help out here. But it really doesn't. The words are not gonna, are more difficult to explain to them than to teach them. And not saying you don't try to teach them,
Yeah.
right? Hey, you make your bed, you help out, set the table, stuff like that. Those are those expectations that you try to build it in your family with your
Yeah.
kids, so they realize like they're a part of something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes we go back to the whole thing when you do too much for them and don't expect them to help, because you want them to be, come out of them sometimes. Not all kids, are the same.
No, they're not.
So sometimes,
Some are slower than others. Some need more push than others.
yes, exactly. Or let's call it
Some
guidance.
need to go on top of the hill and then get let down.
Some guidance. Guidance is the word. Yeah,
yes.
guidance.
Yes.
So
some just need a lift and some need to actually be carried.
yeah.
So it's
it's like,
know your kid. But the ones that need to be carried, I think that's your fault. I think that's the parents that we made that happen, okay?
well, you know what?
Carried.
I'm gonna say this. Can it be their fault? It can be. The thing is we have to know our kids. We have to know what works for them. It's like, we go back into like certain punishments.
Yeah.
One kid, you might be like, you're taking your allowance away. Another kid, you might be like, you're taking the phone away.
Yeah.
Another kid, you might be like, we're taking
It's
your
for different.
it's exactly. So you don't know how that is. So you got to work with your kids. It's like me, I don't like even to this day washing dishes. That's my thing.
Clothes.
Okay. And that's what I'm
hate
saying.
Clothes.
See, and I don't mind clothes. I just, okay, here's my thing. I'll wash as much as you want, separate, do the whole thing. Except I hate folding.
See? Well, that's me too.
Oh, okay, so you're the
put
folding
the
part.
washer, dryer.
Okay. Everything.
I don't know about sorting. Sorting is where I kind of get iffy, but then it goes from the bed to the floor.
Gotcha.
And
So
never
the
makes
folding.
it to the drawers.
See, and that's so that's what I'm saying. But your partner, is your partner a folder?
When he's not mad.
So you got to find that part where it's like, okay, your partner can fold.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you can do everything else, but even that little bit, that
Yeah.
maybe it's a little bit to you.
I would rather scrub the toilets. I would rather clean the tubs.
Thank you.
I would rather.
I don't know why. Me too.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is that?
I'll even redo the roof if you need me to.
Dude, there's certain things that I'm like, I'll go to the store and go get that for you. If you want to do that while I go, I'll take an hour to go come back. It's like the time is not the thing. For some reason, I don't like washing dishes.
That's crazy.
I don't like washing dishes.
I like washing dishes. It's therapeutic for me. It is. Washing dishes. And I have a system too. And I've tried to show my kid, okay, so this is the OCD part of me. When I wash dishes, I don't know if you guys are the same, but I like dishwasher. I kind of have that dishwasher mentality. You wipe off all the food, you rinse it off, then you get the sponge, you wash. Now all your dishes should be semi-clean, like no food at all. Then you take your sponge, you put the soap on it, and you soap those bad boys up, and you take the soap off. Like, that is the way I need it. But yeah, when it came down to my kids, tell me why that wasn't happening.
I think for me,
he put soap on dirt, gross grime, and just like rubbed it all in, rinse it, and then just lets it like get tacked on and caked on. And so when we're eating, we're like, what is that? I hated it so bad. But you know what? I gotta let him fail to learn.
Yeah.
He's even like, ew, what is that?
Hey,
that's your washing.
That's your washing right there. That's right. That's your fork today. So
he thought he'd be on it. He never did. He's like,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. It was a chicken from the other day. Oh man, I think I guess I really right now reflecting. I guess what it is for me is like I do feel like it's kind of gross the whole food stuff.
Absolutely.
So I think for me, I'm kind of I guess I never thought of myself as kind of like that type of person, but I guess it does freak me out to see certain things. So I feel like I'm not going to do a good job. So I guess, so believe it or not, I'll rinse them. I can rinse them, but I just don't want to watch. I feel like I'm just not going to
Wait,
get
did
the
you
crevices.
just say you don't think you're going to do a good job? So you're already predetermined that you're going to fail.
I just feel
That
like
is some bullshit, man.
Hey, we all have
I don't know,
issues.
man. I don't know. That's like an excuse. That ain't no issue. That's a straight up excuse.
Look, the only thing I can relate it to is almost like I said when I make myself broccoli. I hate doing this, but I hate taking off the nasty stuff off the broccoli.
Oh
the
my
pieces,
God.
I don't know. It does something to me. Like I don't like looking at that stuff. It grosses me out a little bit.
Oh wow.
But I'll struggle with it, and I'll cut off all the black. Just the edges sometimes, or one piece will start getting a little. I'll take it out, and I'll still make it, but I gotta get it out of my head about that nasty piece. Like it's still in my head.
That's funny.
So that's, I guess, what my issue is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm afraid that I'm going to leave a piece, like you said, you're going to get that fork and be like, the hell is this?
Yeah.
So I think that's my problem.
I do that with fruit, I think. I
Really?
have a hard time with fruit. When I see a fruit is gross, just even banged up a little bit, like I know to carve it out.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'd rather not. If I don't have to, I would rather just toss the whole thing.
See, and that's what I'd be like. I'll tell my wife, hey, can you cut that for me? Just because I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. So I got a thing with that. So there you go. Yes. So, but I've been able to disguise it all these years. So no one ever knew about that. I don't even think my wife knew about that.
Now guess what? Now you know. Fun fact.
Yes, fun fact.
But it's exciting to see my sons come up. I know it's just starting. I know it's fresh and stuff. And this is, I think, the most important point. My husband and I were talking that we need to get him a mentor. Because if he has kind of stepped up and said, damn, I'm noticing I can do better, then you need to find someone that can guide you towards that. Because obviously it's not going to be me or my husband.
It's harder. It's harder when you're the parent figure. I mean, you're the enemy.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're not the enemy.
I know, no. And that's why I say like this, because it's not really the enemy. It's just what we put in our heads of like, it's against each other. Like we're trying to, kids never see what our parents are trying to do for us. We always try to be like, why are you trying to trick me?
So, okay. You and I were talking about something earlier that was very intriguing. Okay. It was that whole the whole thing that you said, but I'm gonna change this around, and I have to throw God in the mix. I love God, right? So because He's the one that kind of awakened me to a lot of this stuff. Now that we're celebrating Christmas, right? I think it's kind of funny because I was thinking about it a lot more. This whole like what I believe versus what others have set me to believe, and even me, what I believed, what I've seen, judged, and now what I believe. But I see now the love and the patience that God has given us. And what's crazier, I think what's even harder, I think the hardest thing to wrap yourself around when it comes down to faith is how Jesus came from a virgin.
Okay.
And so Catholicism, I think that's very unique, that is held up so high.
That was, yes.
And I'll say that wrapped around with my kid and everything, because I think he reading the Bible, like I think it has shown me like how to be the best parent I can, because God is just like always like trumping, like whatever we're gonna do, He's like, I got you though. Even though you think you're gonna suck at it, you're not. If you practice, you're gonna do good and you're gonna be good. Just don't keep yourself in that circle. Remember that circle that we were talking about, how you can't get out of?
Yeah. Okay.
So and so I'm thinking about my son, and I'm thinking about everything that he's going through, and I'm just I'm very happy that he's going to strengthen himself with all these bad things that have come like to kind of mess him up. Because I started noticing that at one point he was with me like in a nice big circle, like everything I told him, I said, you're smart, you're strong, you're handsome. And then he would go to school and they'd be like, you're stupid, you're ugly. Like, by whatever ways, means that happen. And then his circle started getting smaller and he started trapping himself in the middle. And so I thought,
so basically his perception of things started closing in on him.
Absolutely.
Of what he was taking in the information.
Absolutely.
And like I said, one, you can sit there and say 10, you're smart and you're beautiful. You can tell them every day for a month.
Yeah.
And all it takes is one person at school to be like, you are dumb and whatever.
And we believe
and that's
it, though.
It just takes the one.
Yeah.
It's crazy, though.
Yeah.
You sit there and tell them as many times as you want, but just that one from someone from the outside, from that circle that you're trying to keep them in, from the outside is going to just put a stronghold on that. It's crazy, but that's unfortunately the way we live.
It is. It is. And how do you not go through that as a insecure adolescent growing up in this crazy like competitive world? It's crazy. So I'm very happy. I'm thankful for this moment, and I can't wait to see what comes after all this.
Yeah. And you said something important, in this competitive world. The thing is we have to learn, is that the only person we're competing with is ourselves. Right? That's the only person we're competing with is ourselves.
Because we get tired when we put the bar up when it's not for us.
And then also you mentioned something important, which is God.
Yeah.
That know that He's got us no matter what. And that's very important to have that sense of security. Because sometimes, unfortunately, I've struggled with a lot of stuff in my life, and I've dealt with a lot of stuff. And, I can always say that no matter what, I've felt lonely at times in my life, and even though I know God's there, not always did I call on Him. You know what I'm saying? So.
And isn't that crazy? How does a guy that has such a big family feel so lonely? Do you do that to yourself?
No, I don't feel like I do it to myself. It's just...
Or did you? Because that was back when, right?
Yeah, I mean, I just feel that it's one of those things where we get lost. We misunderstand stuff. There's things that are just... There's no handbook to life sometimes, like you said, and just dealing with, different people. Because in my situation, I'm an only child from my mother and my father, and then my mother went off and had boys, my dad went off and had girls, and it all kind of, so it's like I've always felt like I'm by myself in a sense, because there's other different unities within those other groups that were then created after me. And
but did you put yourself there maybe just a little bit?
Not when I was smaller, though, because think about it, the separation was very young. I mean, I was 4 years old,
right.
And I wasn't introduced back into some of those families until later on in life. So I had already established that growth of that separation was already inside of me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure I didn't do myself any justice by not addressing that. And that's the part where I messed up, but it was already there, and I just didn't address it,
Yeah, that's crazy. But I'm glad at one point that you saw that.
Yeah.
Because then once you saw that, it started to become a lot different, right? The whole story, your perspective.
Yeah. My perspective of life and stuff like that is just so much different. So it's just so much learning.
Yeah.
Going through these things, going through, son or daughter of a divorce, it's just not easy whatsoever.
And the biggest part, I think, is forgiveness.
Yeah.
I think it is. Forgiveness, not tucking away, but forgiving the whole event that's happened. Because it's a lot of times we do things selfishly and we don't see how it affects others. We really don't.
Yeah. And then sometimes selfishness comes from a form of, preservation for ourselves. We're trying to preserve ourselves, and there's a line between trying to, preserve ourselves and then just go on the defensive and,
Yeah. Well, that's how fights happen, right? I noticed that when you're so passionate and you really have to win it, that's when it's bad. That's when a fight happens, when you need to, I don't know, vocalize or say it or just be right about it.
Well,
passion, I guess.
Yeah. And I mean, it's what I've said before. It's, do you want to be right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or do you want to be good with your relationship with your partner, mother, father, son? What is it that you want? You have to know if you want to be right or you want to be okay with them.
Yeah.
Because, we can sit there and try to, hold them to a certain degree of, like, better than to talk that way, or better than to act that way, but they're going through whatever they're going through. Yeah. They're struggling through whatever they're struggling. So It's not always about, bending and being like, oh, well, I'm just allowing them to act this way. No, but there has to be a form of what is it that you want? Do you want to prove your point? Do you want to, do you want to teach them to be better? What is it that you really want to convey in this conversation?
That's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's a big thing. And that's why knowing where they're at is super important, because then you get to kind of talk their language. It's so important to talk people's language.
It is.
If they're more lax, then they don't need so much, because that's what I learned with my husband. I was like, I'm giving him all the reasons why, and he's just like, psh, 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 not even hearing it. It's like he just needs to know, just take out the trash. I asked you. That's all he wants. That's it. Oh, that's what you meant. And then I used to go off and I'm like, I'm so tired. I came back and then I did this and then this, and then I came back after I told you. And then he's just like, and I took it offensive. I was just like, you're not even listening to me. He's like, you're just saying a lot. Yeah.
You don't talk a lot, do you?
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay.
Now I conserve. I preserve. My words
choose your words to be able to, like, okay, let me convey this out.
How can I get to this?
Yeah.
Instead of this, I want it like this. Like, tell them right away what the problem is. No guessing. Be clear and concise, and with lots of love.
Yes. You're not mind readers.
Mm-hmm. And you can't sit there listening either. So there's two.
Yes.
Limited.
Yes, we're limited to the amount of sentences that come out of your mouth. That
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
Then it starts like Charlie Brown, right? Wah, 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 wah.
Right. And and it goes both ways.
It does.
It goes both ways.
Yeah.
Okay. Women, we just want to be loved. You guys want to be respected and get your ego stroked every now and again. Right? I think so.
Sure. Like I said,
that every day. Yeah. Yeah, that too. So anyways, so what have you learned? Anything like that you can give information on for this week that you've seen for growth for yourself? What have you improved on?
I mean, the constant struggle, I think, is just patience.
Ugh, don't pray for patience.
It's about peace and understanding. And again, patience isn't just taking whatever someone gives you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, a lot of times, there's been discussions. It's like, oh, you get hit in the left cheek and you get the right cheek, and it's like, ooh. I know a lot of you people are like, oh no, that's not me. I'm sorry, because you can't do that. But it doesn't always have to be, slap me here and go ahead and slap me on the other one. It's not that simple. Patience and being a certain way, everything stems from something within us. Yes. And again, we go back to perception. Yeah. A lot of things of, what's very disrespectful to you might not be as disrespectful to somebody else.
Or how you say it.
Or who you talk to. There's family members that unfortunately speak with a lot of cuss words.
Yeah.
And every sentence is a cuss word, and there's some people that feel very offended by it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
100%.
F in this and F in that and blah, blah, blah. So there's a start right there.
Yeah.
So it's like a person might say, oh my God, I can't deal with this person. And it's like, but in reality, if you understand that they're not cussing at you, then the problem is actually you.
Yeah.
If
you're just kind of like too feely too quickly.
Pretty much.
Maybe.
And
Maybe.
the biggest thing is this. The question is this. If you want to have a relationship with this person and you want to really, get to know this person, then, you work with what you got.
Yeah.
If that's what you want.
If that's what you want.
If that's what you want.
That's
now,
right.
if you want to set yourself apart, like there's family members that, let's just say a Facebook situation.
Boundaries, right?
There's a Facebook situation.
We see each other during the parties. We see each other, during only this time, for only an hour.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you say, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's up? And whatever. And that's it. And then you're just like, you just don't want to interact with that person. Absolutely. Because it's just difficult for you. Sure, no problem. The thing about it is, we set boundaries. There was a Facebook situation where a family member of mine was making some comments on Facebook, and my wife was like, this person says the most ridiculous thing. What the heck? I'm going to unfriend her. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, you know what? all you gotta do is just block the feed information. I get it, you know, and it's like it's not like you know we have anything against her. It's just some of the stuff she was speaking at that time, and this was years and years and years and years.
And we
ago.
all go through those chapters too.
Exactly.
I've
you know,
seen
people that are sitting there
friends,
just posting
family do the
exactly,
same thing.
and it's like you know,
Well, I'm like, yeah, this season I don't want to hear that. I'm good.
You know, and sometimes we have to set those boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, they're going through whatever they're going through, and we're just not prepared for that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you know, we sometimes gotta just I'll unfollow the information. You know, you don't have to block the person. You don't have to, you know, just eggs them out.
Yeah, that's actually a good way to deal with that.
Exactly.
I would have probably done what your wife did because I don't know how to deal with that. I didn't know how to deal with it either.
Yeah,
You'd be like, it's not where we are now.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to hear this.
That's actually
you know,
good.
that's what she said, and I was like, no, don't do that because then they're gonna know you.
Yeah.
Unfriended, unblocked, and whatever. Yeah, exactly. But it's like I don't want to see this on my, and I keep seeing it.
I'm sorry to y'all who I've done it to because that's ignorance on my end. I now know though. I now know.
Yes. So you just don't get that information.
I'm almost cool.
Yeah.
Okay, one day I'll be to the cool to understand that.
But you know, we go back to the whole thing that we're talking about. It's just how we perceive things. I'm really trying to really pause. I think my biggest issue was I was like short fuse, you know, the whole thing. So and very explosive, very whatever. So I didn't give my brain sometimes a second to think before I spoke.
Yeah.
You know, so what is my partner or even my family member going through that they're acting this way?
Yeah.
And it's sometimes, you know, I heard this other method that instead of, you know how sometimes they're like breathe in and then breathe out.
It helps too.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, here's a different method. If in the moment you're about to say something, take a breath in through your mouth because you can't talk if you take a breath in.
Oh, that's so true. Remember cuenta a 10, hijo de su.
So breathe in through your mouth and out through your nose.
There you go.
So that way you don't say something, right? Because if you don't say it, so give yourself that second to really think about what is that person really thinking that I said or that I did or what's going on? Why are they acting? Just give yourself a second. Because sometimes that's all that it will take for something to just lower the amount of what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I'm telling you, I was short fused with my son. I think that's you know when you just I want my son to grow so much and I know that he's a lot smarter than the little bit that he gives me to see, and so my fuse is short with him. It is short. But with this time that we've had apart, you know how they say if you love it, let it go. If it comes back, you know it was meant to be. That's where I'm at, you know? I see the little sucker coming back and I'm just like, okay, I missed you. Maybe I shouldn't be so hard at some things, you know? But some things I got to.
But let's be honest. Do you feel that you're that way because of how... Are you also reflecting from what you were gotten through, you know, when you were a kid?
No.
No?
No.
Do you feel like you got the opportunity?
Sometimes I did that, though. I was like, well, I didn't do it, but we're different generations, and I understood that. No, but let me tell you, it's because it's natural. I think that we are supposed to teach our children to the best of what we can, right? And we can only teach them what we know, so that's limited always, right? Depending on what you do know, okay?
Yeah, of course.
And in church, I remember the pastor telling me about how the eagle will at one point, no matter what, start to mess with the nest so that the eaglets can fly. They gotta fly.
Really?
And so he starts to tear up the nest.
Really?
Yeah. And so they will fall. And I feel like that's what I had to do with my son too, is I loved him so much, but at the same time, I had to keep kind of like, hey, get up, hey, do this. And I felt like sometimes I was a little bit too much, but at the same time, I knew that he had to get out there to get off his butt. Yeah. Because he was very clever, he was very smart. He found loopholes, and I thought, damn, this kid, he's something else. But loopholes.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine.
You don't even know.
I can imagine.
But he's out there and he's seeing things on his butt, on his own, where he thought, hey, I can do this. The student felt like he was smarter than the teacher, which is good. That's what you want. Yeah. That's what I wanted, you know? But when it came, was I ready to see it? Not so much. It hurt, you know? No. But I caused it. So, and I noticed when I reflected back in my journals, I started noticing that I did it on purpose. unknowingly, not knowingly, right? Like, I don't know, I was confusing myself, but I knew what I was doing, and I
Yeah, but
think
I
I was
think you'd
doing it
mess
for
it up.
the best, for the greater good.
Yeah, like I think you'd mess up the nest, but then you're like, okay, hold on a second. Fix it
Yes,
up. That's the
yes,
thing.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, like you're gonna fall. I'm going. Okay, I'll fix that part, but hold on a second. Hold on. Do you not see what's going on here? All right, I'm gonna make another hole over here. Don't fall in that hole. And once you start going towards that hole, you are
The
passing
yellow
on.
tape
Yeah,
stuck
the yellow
out,
tape.
yellow tape.
Exactly. It's like, wait a minute. He's supposed to fall. That's why you made the hole. That's the thing. Yes, that was you making them holes, but then making them. Then it's like, wait a minute. He fell, but why is there a security thing down there? That's not how it's supposed to happen. He wasn't ready yet. He wasn't ready yet.
See, that's love, though, dude.
I
That's
know.
love. It's torture. But see, that's why we need mom and dad to like stick to it. We gotta stick to it. Now, this is a world of like, it's so easy to like split and say, you know what, this is too hard for me. Deuces. Like, I am so thankful that. I mean, a couple times my husband and I were like, I don't know where you're at. And he's like, ditto, but it's like, thank God we stay together, we stay the course, and we got to get ready for the next one because it's going to happen again. It's not easy.
No, I can imagine. I can imagine.
No, dude. And yeah, low key, it's like I would love to have another kid. It's just scary. So about the holes,
yes.
though, it's necessary.
Yeah.
Right?
Those, like you said, those holes are necessary. And sometimes, yeah, you want to make them, but you can't sit there and keep, oh, wait, oh, not yet, not yet. Oh, wait,
and sometimes it could be dad, too, that does that kind of stuff, too, where he's just like, I'm going to make that hole and don't cross it there. And he's the one that retracts, too.
Yeah. And especially when it's parents on both sides, it is a lot difficult because there's a game that becomes, it's almost like you guys are playing a game with him.
Yeah.
Because it's you against him, and if he's smart enough, which it sounds like he is, he could be playing both sides. So he's like pushing against. That's the whole point. It's like don't get mad at me, get mad at each other.
Yeah.
So it's like what, you're gonna let her talk to you that way? I mean, you don't gotta say much to a guy. Sometimes like, what? I thought you weren't married no more.
Yeah.
Like, so it's like you're gonna let her tell you what to do. It's like there's certain trigger words. If you're smart enough, you can use all kinds of stuff. It's
absolutely.
Like, man.
Yeah.
Like
I said, what makes people tick. You're just sitting there,
It's like, man.
Especially kids, especially teen kids, man, growing up.
God. Especially this day and age, it's like, man, you can really, I can just imagine.
Yeah, but it's fun though. I'm excited. And who mentored you growing up? Do you remember?
I mean, honestly, it's whew. I didn't really. I mean, honestly, it was TV.
What?
TV, I feel like was my mentor. It's like I was looking at TV and thought, but you know what? That was also my downfall, though. That's why I struggled a lot with a lot of things through my life because it's not happy days like they said,
I was watching this thing, and I'll show you later too, because I thought it was interesting. But this guy on his reel was showing how back in like 1900s, like where career sat, where family sat, where studying sat, where like everything, like the American dream of having stuff. And family was always the top two. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden that kept dropping as the years started going. Like family now is like number 15. Yeah, after internet's like number 1, and then it's everything else underneath that. It's sad.
It's just difficult, especially I came from a family that was pretty big on my grandmother's side, and it started unbeknownst to me that my grandmother had unattached herself from her sisters and brothers. So then now the family was just my grandmother, my mother, and really just my 2 uncles at one point, because my third uncle was far away. And then my second uncle, he left also. So there was literally my mom and my uncle and my grandmother was a family. And I was the oldest of all the cousins. And my brothers. So it started to shrink so much. So my vision of family was so small. I knew it wasn't good how the dynamics were that I was seeing. So I was like, okay, well, hopefully one day it'd be like, like TV and stuff. It's going to be like this. And I hope for that because I knew what I was seeing.
What was your show? What was your show that you're like, that's going to be my life right there?
Oh man.
Beaver.
Wait, who was your dad, Phil or Carl? Was Fresh Prince or?
No, sure. I was more like, I was more like different strokes. I was like, what you talking about, Willis? Like, so that was my thing. But like I said, life is tough. But we just gotta keep strong because what do we always say?
There's no growth
Without pain.
and know that every day.
Yes.
Until next time, guys.
Next time, guys.